All right. So there's a big piece of news that's happening in the United Kingdom, and the implications of this could really affect the rest of the world. I mean, it has to do with piracy. We all sit there and it's like, well, you can't download music legally. You'll get fucking notes and you can get sued and all this. And there's just all this crap going on, and people arguing back and forth about the moral and legal rights. Well, the British government has finally decided, let's make our final case about this. Like, let's put an end to this. They have decided that they are, in a sense, making piracy legal. The government itself will not be going after anyone who downloads anything illegally. And I mean that really what I should be saying, there is no file sharing.
Basically what they're saying is, yes, file sharing or pretty much any form of piracy. What they're doing is they're giving warnings. I think they're giving either 3 or 4 warnings. I think 4. They're going to give 4 warnings, and after the 4th warning, they're going to stop giving warnings. Because in their own words, essentially, they realize that you can't dissuade someone from doing something if they're going to do it. Like, if you can't dissuade them, just give up, which is basically their stance.
And,
right now.
I mean, that's appropriate. I mean, with that mentality also comes the fact that the owners of the copywritten material that you or whoever does choose to file share, they can still go after you. That means the company itself can still sue you for using their intellectual properties. So, realistically, I mean, in my opinion, that's how it should be handled. The government getting caught up in all of this is kind of ridiculous, but, I mean, really, the government is taking steps with their volunteer agency to sit there and it's like, here are places you can go to legally get these things online. That's what their warnings are going to be about. Hey, we see that you downloaded this. Why don't you go here? Right? Like, oh, you wanted this movie? Go watch it on Netflix. $8 a month. Oh, you like this? Listen to this song? Get Spotify. There's tons of more selections by this artist that you would probably enjoy.
I wasn't aware they're doing that. Like, I didn't know that they were going to actually say, oh, well, if you like it, maybe try buying it. But the other thing is that you can't really sue someone for downloading something. Like, hey, if I were to download, let's say, a copy of, I don't know, like some kind of video game that comes out, like the next Arkham game. If I were to download like a pirated copy of that and play it illegally, there's really nothing that Warner Brothers can do to me because they can't, like, they don't have access to my computer or my like PSP or sorry, my PS3 as far as I'm aware. So if they were to do that, they would need to actually sue me for it. And if it's not if there's no official punishment, then I can't understand how like anyone would be able to make a case out of that. It's like they shared a file that they weren't supposed to share, but our policy is that we're not doing anything about it.
Okay, so the difference here is this is, your personal opinion. I choose personally to err on the side of if I can get it legally, I'm going to go for it legally. I am in a position where I can spend the money, if with my job.
Oh no, I'm not like anti.
What I'm saying though is because I have the ability to get the money, the ability to pay the money needed for whatever it is that I want. Yes, I support the legal acquisition of whatever intellectual property I am looking for. But in the same respect, it's because they own that and they are not making any, like, if you were to file share Arkham Knight, the next game, which is going to be on PS4 and Xbox One, if you were to file share that illegally, well, you're taking the entire product that they are trying to sell, right? So that's where the gray area, as far as I'm concerned, is.
Well, if I were to make a copy of, what was it? What game did you mention?
Arkham Knight, the one you were talking about, the next Arkham.
Right.
Knight.
If I were to take a copy of Arkham Knight and then sell copies to people, that would be an entirely different level of crime.
At that point,
that would be different.
They can sue you for damages and all of the money you made. But right now, if you were to file, like, you were just to get Arkham Knight yourself, well, you basically, in a sense, would be sued for the money that you owe them, which would only really amount to like $70 as they're trying to sell current gen games at right now.
Or however many euros or pounds it is.
I think it's like
in UK.
40, 45.
That sounds
yeah,
right.
that's I think because it's almost like our dollar is like half the value of a pound or something like that.
Well, I thought the pound was going down, but
it's all fluctuation and bullshit, and let's not get into that. Point is, this whole next step for file sharing that the UK is taking is really, if more, what am I? Oh, jeez, what am I trying to say? If more recording studios, if more movie theater, film boards and whatnot, I can't. The words are escaping me right now. If they took to an online distribution method, they would be doing way better. They would not be seen as so evil and corrupt and ridiculous as they are now. They wouldn't be seeking these damages and just like, oh no, we're losing everything. Look, just sell your product online for a reduced price. You don't try and take the money that it would cost you to make a physical copy when you're selling it online. Guess what? We're not that stupid. Why is iTunes successful? Because they sell everything. They sell every song for $1. $1, one song. Boom.
Here's the thing, though, and as much as I absolutely hate to use this word because it pisses me off, and that's just a me thing. But it's what it's about is it's about humility. Like, the point is that in their mind, remember, all these companies are run by rich old men, rich old white men who hate change. They have lived their whole lives seeing only one possible perception of success. In their minds, if they're not selling physical things, it's not a real product. They can't understand the idea of a digital distribution world being legitimate business. They think that it's a dangerous new idea that will pop, like the speculator bubble in the 90s. They don't like the idea of having to bring to, and I'm air quoting with my fingers right now, bring themselves down to the level of dirty, smelly, unwashed indie developer, starving artists to sell their wares. That's their perception. That's the way they see it. And it's sad.
They're the people who are trying to fund, trying to do certain things in this respect. I mean, E1 Films has a subscription-based YouTube channel. Or sorry, obviously it's a subscriber base, but you have to pay for that subscription, paid subscription service. But you can watch all their movies on YouTube right there, right, like so easily, right? So it's happening slowly. It's not happening fast enough as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, if we offered these products in a way that, we can access them, then those dirty, the old men at the top who think this is dirty and beneath them and whatever, well, then they don't have to worry about this anymore because they're on their way out as far as I'm concerned. And and if anything, they'll be making more money. You show them that the profit.
Yes, that's the saddest thing about this whole scenario, is that any self-respecting capitalist should look at this and say, okay, there's a new system where we don't have to spend any money to distribute. There is an almost zero cost of distributing our goods, and we get pure profit from it. Basically, this is essentially capitalism perfected, and they don't want on board.
Exactly. And they're just like, well, they're going to steal it. What? They won't have to steal.
They're already stealing it. They're already stealing it now.
Yeah. Why don't you make it so that stealing it is more of a hassle than actually obtaining it?
Or more of a non-option. Basically, give us more convenience than the people who steal things from you are.
It's like,
it would cost you nothing. You'd make money off of it.
And so, this is why, because the United Kingdom government, Britain's government, has finally decided, hey, you know what? We're not interfering in this anymore. This is ridiculous. We are going to, we're going to inform the people. We're going to warn them through a volunteer service. That way, No money is being spent. No money is being wasted on trying to get people to make the right decision in life. Take the right choice.
Right.
And we're educating
Absolutely.
people as to how they can, obtain these things without stealing them. Because many people are
Yeah,
just
that's half the battle.
tons of parents are just like, hey, can you get this movie on my computer or whatever? Yeah, sure, I'll just torrent it. They just ask their kid to do it for them, and their kid just takes the easiest means that they know how. But if we were to tell the people, inform these parents, hey, you can just get a Netflix account and you have way more movies streamed right to your TV, your console, your computer, like whatever you hook up to your TV or just watching it on your computer. It's that simple, right? Yep. iTunes, Spotify, there are so many options available. So many platforms that are successful because of its ease. And if we spent more time on that, telling the people, then we wouldn't have to go through all these bullshit fucking copyright cases where people really just don't care and nobody's succeeding. The only thing that happens from these is that the people who are making, the people who copyright is being infringed upon are making themselves look like idiots and assholes. And that's it. Simple as that.
All right. That's, yeah, yes. To wrap up, because I think we're a little bit off out of time for that topic, but all I was going to say was I don't think that they are on their way out unless we make sure we have to push them out, because we will always find a way. They think that they're on top, and they think they'd be giving up their dominance because of their because they're too proud, but they don't have dominance. They're just afraid to let go of a dominance they think they have. But you're absolutely right, and the biggest thing is to save money on cases that aren't going anywhere. I think this is entirely a step in the right direction. At the very least, I can't see anyone really getting hurt from this any more than they already are.
Exactly. I mean, really, what's going to happen from the government finally saying, you know what, settle your own copyright claims. We're going to use a volunteer service to tell people how to not steal from you. That's our job.
This can backfire. But there's always going to be something. There's going to be people who abuse the system. But overall, I think it'll settle out. There's going to be a happy medium.
Oh, there will be. Of course, you're never going to get rid of everyone who's just like, oh, I'm just going to torrent everything. I refuse to pay for anything. There are people who are like that, and they're horrible people.
I don't know who would do that.
Yeah. Point is, so long as we can help the uneducated become educated, this is a step in the right direction. Coming back, San Diego Comic-Con just happened, and there's really the only pieces of information or news or whatever you want to call it that I want to talk about or really think of any value right now are the 8-part poster for Age of Ultron and then the Wonder Woman costume reveal as well as the Batman vs. Superman teaser. So starting off with the 8-part poster, basically we have each of the main characters taking up their own space, and it's really cool. But looking at this poster, I see what I'm gonna take as plot points, because obviously this is promotional work for the movie. This is these are glimpses and teases of what's gonna happen in the movie, right? So we see a wave of Ultron and all 8 heroes trying to take him down. But if you also look up in the top left corner above Quicksilver, well, there he is, who I thought at first was Magneto, but that doesn't make any sense. And then then somebody reminded me it's the Vision. So just to lay this out, we have, because of this is what Joss Whedon said that the plot was going to be, is that Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Did he actually say this?
Yeah, he came out and said that Tony Stark is going to be making Ultron, because the original creator is Ant-Man or Henry Pym, and that's just not happening.
And fuck Ant-Man, so just in general, just all the time.
Hopefully that movie is good, but we'll see. I highly doubt it. Point is, so Tony Stark's going to make Ultron. Ultron is going to hit the singularity, become evil, want to destroy everything. He's also going to make the Vision. Now, Joss Whedon has also said that he wants a story to revolve around Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, the brother-sister relationship, not sexual. Hopefully.
Team Wincest.
But I mean, yeah, that's a thing. Point is, so we have Ultron being creating his own army, creating his vision, Vision is going to turn I only suspect that because Vision and Scarlet Witch are married in the comics, well, she's going to be the one who turns Vision good to help take down Ultron. And the way I see it right now, the other 5 Avengers, besides, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Iron Man, those 3 are going to have tons of screen time, probably. The other 5 are just going to be there. Like, it doesn't feel like they have a point to be there.
All right, well, here's the thing is, I get it. The thing I'm trying to wrap my head around right now is I'm looking at this poster. I see the first thing I notice is billions of Ultrons and no single Ultron. So what I'm seeing is Ultron as like a vague force. Like, this could just be like, I can't base the whole movie on just the poster, but what the big thing I'm looking at right now is, if should Ultron not be the most important element of the movie Age of Ultron? Like, to me, this seems like, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch are newcomers. As far as a person, from the perspective of someone who's never read any comics ever, these are totally new characters. They've never been in any movies before except for Quicksilver in the cameo. So this is, who the fuck are these people? Why should we care? And why are the people we came here, we paid for the ticket to see, being pushed to the sidelines? I think that's your point, right?
Well, yes and no. It's the fact that in the first Avengers movie, Loki was Thor's brother, and Thor was sent to come and get him back. Tony Stark got himself involved because he was the only one who could help with the situation, and it was asked to come in to help with the science part of trying to find the Tesseract that was stolen. Captain America had just been revived and been brought to S.H.I.E.L.D. to help out with this as well, because he knows firsthand of Tesseract weaponry. Black Widow and Hawkeye both work for S.H.I.E.L.D., and then Bruce Banner, or the Hulk, was brought in because he's the only one who could figure out how to track it in the first place. So all of the key members of the Avengers in the first movie had a reason for being there. In this movie, why is Thor there? Why is the Hulk? Why are Black Widow and Hawkeye? Why is Captain America there? Right? That's my concern. It's like, why are these characters here? Why are we supposed to care about them again? Because Captain America, as far as I'm concerned, has a great movie all on his own. Like The Winter Soldier, I like that more than the Avengers right now. That's just me. It's so good.
Here's yeah.
Like, and maybe biased.
Hey, well, a lot of people love it, but my thing is, my biggest problem with this whole movie's premise-wise, it was kind of a good idea to make it on this, but the problem is that, and it could just be my perspective, and if anyone disagrees with this, you're welcome to disagree, because I could be wrong, but the entire Ultron storyline, Avengers-wise, made zero sense in the comic books. So having it make sense here is going to be a challenge in and of itself.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's easy to say that, but comic book fans have always been paying attention to these stories and making sense of them. So, I mean, it's the level of believability for a mainstream audience that we really have to fight with. What I mean is,
in the story, all your fears basically were the same in the story. In the original story, as far as I'm aware of, Vision took down Ultron. Ultron didn't get created for this. Like, he was an existing supervillain that was created by Hank Pym a long time ago, and now he's gained sentience, or now he's a villain. So the point is that it's like, it was sort of like a culmination. It was a bunch of things that the writers thought were going to be really important later on, and then didn't. It was an event comic that worked in a lot of ways, but it really, there's a reason why people aren't familiar with this storyline. It's because a lot of it made no sense. There was like the iconic Ultron part that you're remembering is like the last 10% in a completely ridiculous saga.
Okay, so as we move on to Wonder Woman's costume, just pulling this up. So, what do you think?
I have never liked the fact that Wonder Woman's entire existence is nothing but an argument about her costume. Her boobs are always way too accentuated, and her costume is designed for that. But here we have an actual woman with a realistic body wearing a suit that looks completely accurate to what a gladiator or Greek warrior would wear. Instead of the like, I'm looking at these pictures and it's like they always have like the TNA. They always have her butt barely contained by this bikini bottom. Now she has an armor skirt that both looks Wonder Woman-ish and looks like actual armor. It looks good and functional. There's absolutely nothing overtly sexualized about this design. The only thing I could possibly say is the weird disconnect between the clearly armor greaves and the high heels on said greaves. But okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's my only like the high heels are
fine.
weird, but at the same time,
it's okay though
because she's always had that. It's always been like that level of sexuality that comes with her. It's kind of
she's a dominatrix
strength,
but also
yes,
also, like it works for her. It's fine for her. The only reason I think it's weird is because she's wearing such good gladiator armor. I can't help but now imagine Russell Crowe's character from Gladiator wearing high heels. That's the weird part for me, is that it's like now I get like, well, nope. I guess
this needs to happen. I want to see this.
Oh, she has a strap around. Oh, who cares? It looks fine. It's like I was in the camp of she needs pants or something that isn't a bikini bottom.
And here we are. And I mean, this is better than anyone probably predicted out of Zack Snyder, simply because the guy, he makes a very good, entertaining movie, but he's not exactly all there with, certain, levels of sexual equality. Let's put it like that.
Here's what I think happened. There were 2 stages to this character design. First stage, I don't know who designed the first stage, but basically Gal Gadot, whatever her name is, she came in and it's like, all right, so here's the design I have for you. He looks at it like, that's weird. This doesn't work. I designed her boobs to be 3 times bigger than her head, and her butt to be enormous, and for her to be wearing like a piece of string. That it doesn't work. I can't work with this. What, with real, live, actual women? Yeah, I can't work like this. And he throws down his clipboard. And then someone's like, all right, do we have anyone who knows how to actually design real people clothes? And someone's like, yeah, I can do it. All right, just draw me something that looks vaguely feminine and gladiatorial. And then done. That's all we ever needed. It looks fine now.
Okay, if they had brought out more color, the reds, the blues that are associated with Wonder Woman, or I prefer the silver over the gold simply because it makes her stand out more from Superman. But if they had gone with more of her color scheme, that would be better. But at the same time, it's still good because the picture itself it's got a filter over that just so it makes it look like she forged in the fires of battle.
Okay, well, it's kind of like this. Isn't that how Xena opened up with its narration?
Honestly, I don't remember. And
you're thinking of Xena.
Xena's Come on, Xena and Diana are basically the same character. Let's be honest.
I think we've reached the consensus that there's literally no reason to argue this. And if you do argue, if anyone has a problem with this setup, because it is the brown colors is just for the mood lighting. Any further argument about it's not like the original or whatever, because all people ever do is argue about her costume. Any more argument past this point will basically just be fanboy moaning.
Yeah, really. I mean, sure, it's not as sexual as everybody wants it to be, like the comic books are, but guess what? We need to be a little bit more representative in our fucking media.
Or at least stop being so ridiculous. Take ourselves seriously once in a while.
This is a real woman trying to be a real strong Amazonian warrior. Granted, she's not Amazonian height, but I mean, there are very few women in the world who really are.
I don't think Amazonian. I don't think realistically Amazonian women were that tall. I think that was a lot of it was kind of like it might not be historically accurate that actually happened, but
yeah, I don't really know enough to say anything. So it's just. It's an interesting idea to go with, and it's what has been presented here makes me confident that the movie is going in a direction that'll be entertaining. If anything else,
it makes me confident.
I want it to be good.
Yeah, it makes me confident. Yeah, continue.
Well, no, what were you saying?
It just makes me confident that someone knows what they're doing. That's all I know.
Yeah. Like, all I want from this movie is to be entertained. If it's entertaining, good. If it's an actually good movie, better. Right? But, I mean, it all depends on everything that happens. And we have to wait and see until at least a full trailer is released or the movie itself comes out next year.
All right.
Okay. So as we move into the teaser, which you can really only find in shitty cell phone GIFs and pictures, basically it opens up with Batman in his Dark Knight Returns armor that he used to fight Superman. And that has white glowing eyes as he pulls a sheet off of the bat signal to discover Superman there floating in front of him with his heat vision ready to go, and closes out on Batman giving his scowl. So, I mean, what I see from this is that they're going to basically take the fight from The Dark Knight Returns and make it live action. The problem with that is the fact that we have young Superman versus old Batman.
And the problem there is that originally in Dark Knight Returns, the reason they were fighting in the first place was because they have had decades of tension between the two of them, and this was something that had to happen. The reason why we loved it was because it was something. It was a fanboy dream. It was one giant wish fulfillment. Like comic books in general are wish fulfillment, but this was there to finally end the debate, or at least try. It was Frank Miller's love letter to Batman, and that's how he wanted Batman to go out. And this doesn't make any sense now, because it's just the new kid on the block. So basically, you're just setting Batman up to be wrong, because he's the grizzled old man who can't adapt to the idea of someone with superpowers doing his job better than him. This just seems like a bad idea going in, to me.
Yeah, I mean, it will be cool to see that fight in, live action with all the awesomeness, but it doesn't have the same weight. As you were saying, there's all that tension, all that build-up, they've been friends and enemies in a sense for decades. In this, it's Batman, who's been probably, Batmaning around for 15 years. Let's say because he's supposed to be in his 40s. Let's say he started 25, and this new Superman who still hasn't mastered his powers, fully taken up all of his responsibilities, and so just sitting there, and it's it doesn't add up. It's going to be an awesome fight, but I mean, if the whole point of the movie is just for them to fight, it's not going to be good. I'm really hoping that Lex Luthor, because he's been confirmed as the villain, is going to be this driving force that causes the conflict between them. And then when that fight meets it makes its climax and they're seen as equals to each other. Because that's how the fight's going to end. They're going to see each other as equals. They're equals in a sense.
I will always be on Team Batman, but I'm not so completely fanboy crazy that I can't see that Superman can beat the piss out of him any day. Doesn't make him a better character. It just means that Superman will always have an advantage over Batman.
Yeah.
Do you really think
it's true? We can't get around that.
It's like, oh, I have armor, and Superman's like, that's cute.
Right? It's I have armor. I'll be able to stand up to you. Oh, you mean anything made on this planet that I can break? Sure, that'll protect you.
It's it zooms out and you see an entire sea of smashed tanks. In that same story, I just want to point this out. Superman cut through an aircraft carrier. Just days before this happened. Days before that fight. It's not like he was rusty.
Let me just... It's not like he's not in his prime. Yeah. Here, let's make this even funnier, okay? So, Superman has been able to move planet Earth with how strong he is.
He also obliterated a galaxy by sneezing?
Yeah, that too. Well, that's okay. Okay, so if he's able to move the planet, what makes you think for a second there is anything on this planet that will protect you from his strength? Oh, you're in a metal suit of armor? Good. I can just boil you alive with my heat vision. Thanks for making my job easier.
I'll pick you up and rip you in
That's
half.
all Batman did.
Drink all your blood.
Because of course I will. And then I'll become Super Batman.
He'll give me your bat powers. What do you mean? You know, the powers you use. No, I don't have any powers. And then Superman just flies down. Oh, okay. Wait, what? No, I don't have any powers. I just have gadgets. What do you mean you don't have? Are you serious? Are you being serious right now? The bat and the costume and the plane shaped like a bat. What? Like, okay, so you're telling me you're just some weird motherfucker in a suit, in a bat suit, and you're trying to take me on? Well, there's more to it than that. No, there's nothing more to it than that. You're just crazy. Do you see what I did? Do you see what I did? Like I was in another solar system when you called me here. I had to move planets out of the way to get here. What makes you think you have a chance? I
and
mean,
like all I'm picturing now is like
really hard
when he rips
armor.
him in half.
I worked really hard on this.
All I'm picturing is like he rips him in half, drinks all of his blood, and then you just see him like writhe in pain, and then he like comes back up. His hair is now like he's still got the Superman swish, but some of his hair has gone up to be like bat ears. His blue suit is now black. His Superman symbol is now like the world's finest symbol, so the bat is coming out of it. He keeps the red cape, but he's like Super Batman now. This is like his Super Saiyan form.
And he's also a vampire.
Yes, he gets the non-existent vampire powers that Batman has.
And to top it off, he gets bat nipples.
Oh, absolutely gets bat nipples. That was the first thing to happen.
The hardening of the nipples, the first thing to happen after devouring bat. You know what? Homoerotic cannibalism is not where I wanted this blog to go when I started. So we're going to move on to the next subject, which is, I think, back to what we're supposed to be talking about.
I think we've really hit all the points, because I mean, so long as it's a good movie, I mean, I'm excited. I just want to make sure that the plot itself holds up and it really makes sense. I want it to be entertaining, but I want it to be a good story, you know, something that's on par with, you know, Marvel's current cinematic universe, because DC, as far as I'm concerned, is better. But then again, super doomed.
I was gonna say, like, what you're saying to me right now is you're hoping for DC's cinematic universe to be better than Marvel. We're talking about DC. Okay, DC is not someone you look to and think, yes, I trust them to do a good job with this. No, they have awesome shit, but you don't trust DC to do things right. You hope against hope that they don't do what they're going to do, and then when it turns out to be what you want, you're like, oh, thank God, I'm so glad they didn't fuck this one up. That's what DC is these days. These days, I mean, like,
yeah.
They're like, just like last year, like they I don't know what, but they've done some amazing stuff. It's just like, it seems now that they don't know what they're doing. Like, there's people who know what they're doing, and then there's people who think that having Superman eat Doomsday is a good idea. And apparently those ones, the ones that are into that, are running the show. So I'm not expecting anything out of this movie. I'm going in completely free of expectations.
I think that's probably in our best interest. So I think that's where we're going to wrap it up.
Next week, we're going to have an entire 20-minute discussion on why Superboy Prime is the best DC character. Actually, no, we're not doing comic books. Just something other than comic books. Just we did 2 in a row, and we're doing something else now, because this is not a comics vlog. Okay, this is vlog. Whatever.
We're done.
We're done with it for a while. Next time, it was something that matters.
Something that really, really, truly matters. Take care.